Exposure time in the real world. By now you've probably had your 2012-2013 USPAP update and have been told that appraisers must now provide their opinion of exposure time for the subject property in each and every assignment where exposure time is a component of the definition of value. So what the heck is exposure time? Let's start with what it's not. Exposure time is not a fact. It's not a prediction of how long it will take the subject property to sell if foreclosed upon, and it's not always equivalent to the actual days on market for the subject property. So again, what is exposure time? Think of exposure time this way. How far backward from the effective date did the subject property need to be listed at your opinion of market value in order for it to sell on the effective date? So exposure time is theoretical, based on your opinion of value, and relies upon the notion that the subject was listed and sold for the same amount. That's right, there's no overlisting involved. Bottom line, we're looking for the reasonable amount of time that the subject property would have been exposed to the open market prior to selling on the effective date. And one of the best places to start is with comparables, especially if you're dealing with the appraisal of a property which is not a purchase transaction and has never actually been listed for sale. So, try this one on for size. You're using 4 comparable sales. Each one was listed for a period of 90 days, give or take, and each went under contract with no price reductions. If those comps are good enough to indicate the subject's value, wouldn't it make sense to think that the subject's exposure time would have been similar to the exposure times of the comparables? In other words, 90 days, give or take? But what about all those times the comps were listed? Then the price was reduced. Then it was reduced again. Then it finally went under contract at a price significantly below the original asking price. In the end, it doesn't matter if the comparable property was actually on the market for 235 days. So what if the price was reduced 3 times? You might be looking for the time that passed from the last price reduction. Or, if only a few days or weeks had passed, it might be reasonable to think that the market had actually responded to the second reduction, but just hadn't got around to speaking up yet. Remember, exposure time is not a fact. Look backward from the effective date. What we're trying to figure out is the period of time when the property was priced right and the market responded favorably. And remember, the right price is your opinion of value.